Hey, all, it's Alan. Student emailed about this 3.4 number 3 problem, and I know there was a few of them just to get the hang of it so you didn't have to keep doing the same one over and over if you weren't understanding it. These can be tricky, so I wanted to go through each A through D parts and in depth to try to explain it in a little bit more detail. So if you need any help on this one, keep watching and keep working hard. All right, so a couple things here. Wanted to kind of go over what the problem is stating, and then we'll go over each part. But they're using Angela, Boris, and Carlos as A, B, and C. I've color coordinated those over here for you, and you can see their breakdown in value for each of the two halves of this strawberry vanilla cake. All right, and we're going to use what is called the lone chooser method. All right, so I'll highlight that as well. And we're going to have Angela and Boris be the dividers and Carlos be that lone chooser. Okay, and so that first division, Angela cuts the cake into two parts or sections, S1 and S2, and then Boris picks the share that he likes best and Angela the other. So kind of like that divider chooser method that we talked about coming into play here, and then eventually when they make their choices, then Carlos will be the lone chooser, and then their leftover will be what they get. Okay, so Boris picks the share that he likes best after she cuts it. Now if you notice over here in the table, you can see if Angela is making the first cut that she definitely favors strawberry to vanilla, 3-1 in fact. All right, so that's why she didn't just cut it straight down the middle, which would be the easier way, of course, but she cut to make sure that she would have at least some strawberry in either section. All right, so just to kind of break this down here, you can see that there is indeed 180 degrees, half of a full circle, plus this other little part of strawberry. Right? And so what she decided to do was cut this 120-degree angle, so that leaves us with a 60-degree slice of the strawberry. Okay, so that's how she cut it up, and you can see that here. 120-degree strawberry piece we're calling S1, and then S2 is made up of that 60-degree and 180-degree vanilla piece. Okay, so obviously, without even really getting too mathy on this, what is Boris going to pick? Well, if you notice, Boris definitely, without a doubt, wants the strawberry piece. Even though this one has more cake, he values the strawberry at a whole lot more. So this is the easiest choice to make without knowing how to actually mathematically come up with the value of each of these. So what we're going to do is I'm going to point this out and make sure that you understand how to find that when it isn't so obvious. So since we're starting with Boris here, I'll use the pink color. All right, and we know that Boris has two choices, S1 and S2 we're calling it. Okay, section 1 of the cake or section 2. And in section 1, there are 120 degrees out of the 180 degrees of strawberry. Okay, so if we reduce that down, we can divide by 10 to drop those, and then 6 goes in each of those 2 and 3 times. So section 1 has 2/3 of the strawberry. And remember, he valued strawberry at $45. So we know that this piece would be valued at 2/3 of 45. And so if I put that over 1, I know 3 goes into that 15 times. And then 2 times 15 would leave us with a $30 share. Okay? So that's what, according to Boris, S1 would be valued at. $30. Now S2 on the other hand has two parts, right? It has the 60 out of 180 for the strawberry, which remember was valued at a total of $45. Plus he also has 180 out of 180 of the vanilla, which obviously just equates to 1, and he valued the vanilla at $5. So we know that this is easy. That part is a total of $5 that he values the cake at. But then this one we know is 1/3 of 45, and we know 3 goes into that $45 15 times. So this has a total value of $20 according to Boris. So again, that would be the mathematical way of calculating these out when it wasn't so obvious, so that we knew that yes, indeed, he should definitely be picking that one. He obviously likes strawberry a whole lot more, even though this has 240 degrees or twice as much cake. Okay? Now, what he then has to do is subdivide his share. And since there are 3 people, he's going to have to cut it 3 ways. And because he's choosing the section of the cake that has all the same, it would be in his best interest to just cut it equally to ensure that he gets an equal share, since he's not going to be the one that gets to choose. So obviously what we're going to have to then do is make sure that he takes that 120 degrees and divides it equally 3 ways, which equates to 3 goes in that 4, that 0, 3 equal 40 degree from that section 1 part of the cake. All right, so that was part A. We'll move on to part B now, which now gets into what Angela should do with her remaining piece. And so I wrote it down here. She has the 180 degree vanilla plus 60 degree strawberry part. And so how should she subdivide hers into 3 equal parts? Well, it's not as easy because she doesn't have the same, she has both vanilla and strawberry parts. And so what we're going to have to do is take the 180 degrees out of the 180 degrees for the vanilla, which she valued at $9. And that's easy because that is the whole vanilla. So she's going to get that whole $9 value she values it at. Plus the 60 degrees, which remember was out of the other half of the circle or the cake, which is 180. And she valued the strawberry at $27. And so again, that equates to 1/3. And we know 3 goes into 27 9 times. So that is another $9 value for a total of 18. So she values her share as $18. But the vanilla part as 9, and equally in value, that 60 degree little sliver of strawberry as $9. So how are we going to figure out which of these would be the best? So since we now know the total that she values her portion of the cake being as $18, we want to split that into 3 equal parts, just like we did with Boris. So obviously we're going to have to take the $18 and divide it by 3, which means we want to get equal cuts of that cake of $6 a piece. So how are we going to do that? We're going to have to take the fact that we have that $6 equal part that we want to get out of, well, each of these, both for the vanilla and the strawberry, happen to come out to be the same. And so we're going to take those and figure out that ratio. Now monetarily, compared to what we want to cut this vanilla part, which was at 180 degrees. And so when we do that, we know that this can simplify to just be 2/3. And again, you see the units will cancel out. So 2/3 of the 180 degree slice that we have. And we know that 3 goes into this 6 and 0 times. So 2 times that gives us 120 degrees. And if we do the same thing for the strawberry slice, we know that again it was $6 out of the 9, so that will cancel, as will these, to be that 2/3 again of our 60-degree strawberry slice. And so again, 3 will go into that 20 degrees, and so we'll be left with 2 times 20, which is 40 degrees for the strawberry slice, and 120 for the vanilla. Now, we originally had 180 and 60, so if this is the third that we're finding, then we know that she's going to cut into 120 degrees of the vanilla for one slice, 40 degrees of the strawberry for one slice, and then what is the third going to be? Well, it'll be everything that's remaining. And so for us, since we started with 180 and we took 120 degrees of it, that would be a 60 degree. And then since we have 60 degrees and we took 40 of the strawberry, it would be plus a 20-degree slice for the strawberry and vanilla, which you can see that would have been part A, that the student that asked this question also was able to figure out. Okay, so well done. Again, that's a little tricky, kind of going both directions one time with the fractional portion of the vanilla and strawberry compared to the whole, like we did here, and then multiplied by the monetary value to get the value of the slice. And then we work backwards here. We said, well, we already have those, so then let's see what portions of those we have compared to the value in the money to see what each of those and therefore the total would be. And once we had that, then we wanted to divide that equally 3 ways, which we said would be this. So now that we know the fair share value, we could then take what we have for each of the 2 parts, vanilla and strawberry, for our slice S2, and figure out exactly how to cut those equally. And then that other third was the remaining part. Okay? Hopefully you followed that so that we can move on to part C, which now that we have those 2, which were cut initially by Angela, and then each of their halves had to be cut into thirds so that each of the 3 people would have something, 2 things out of the 6 left over. So in part C here, we now want to see what Carlos would choose from each individual. Now, obviously one of them is pretty easy. So let me break it down one more time for you for each person. Angela, we said that her 3 parts would have, well, the first one was 120 degrees of vanilla. Then the second one was a 40-degree strawberry. And then the remaining pieces would be 60 degrees of vanilla plus 20 degrees of strawberry. And those were her 3. Then there was Boris, who he chose at the very beginning the entire strawberry piece, which remember was 120, and we divided that 120 3 equal ways because all he had was strawberry. And so we said that all of his would be 40 degrees of strawberry cake. So obviously when Carlos gets his choice and he has to choose, he's definitely going to choose any one of those, doesn't matter which was this option. Okay, a 40 degrees of strawberry. Then choosing from Angela, well, remember over here, Carlos was a bit different. He was the one person that valued vanilla over the strawberry. And so if he has a choice from Angela, he's definitely not going to choose this one because that only has strawberry. And he much prefers 2 to 1, actually, vanilla to strawberry. So he's definitely going to choose this. Now, how could we figure all that out? We could go through the same things that we did in the previous part B. Okay, but it's pretty obvious he's going to choose this, just like it was in part A for Boris, and which one he was going to choose. So for this, pretty simple, not too bad. we can see what Carlos is going to end up with, and therefore we should also see what Boris and Angela end up with. And so part D here is going to ask us to break those numbers down and see what, according to them, the values of each of those things were. Okay, so now we got to go and do a little bit more math instead of just logic again. And we're going to have to figure out how this all played out now that they have their 2 slices apiece. Okay, so I'm going to start with Angela's, which is there in blue. She has a 40-degree strawberry, and she also has a 60-degree vanilla plus 20-degree strawberry slice. And so all we have to do with these is figure out what their values are and then calculate all of that out, and that will be the total according to them. Okay, and so you can see I already worked this out and my answers are there, but let me actually work them out to show you how I got those things. Okay, so 40 degrees of the strawberry plus another 20 over here, that's 60 degrees of strawberry out of the total 180. And again, you can do some simplifying there, but what we want to look at is what Angela valued the strawberry at, which was a total of $27. Now total, that's key. We don't have a whole 180-degree slice, half of that cake. We only have divide by 10, divide by 6, we only have 1/3. And because we only have 1/3, since she valued the whole strawberry section, which was half of our circle, our cake, 180 degrees, then we can then multiply that to cancel and get that was worth $9 to her. Okay, plus then she also had this 60-degree out of the total 180 of vanilla, and she valued vanilla at $9. And so divide by 10 and then 6, we can say that 3 goes in this 3 times, and we're left with a total of $3, which altogether you can see what she was left with, Angela, she values it at $12. Okay, so if you want to pause it right here and try parts B and C for Boris and Carlos for this 4th part D of this problem, then go ahead. I'll wait just a second, give you the chance to try it, pause it, come on back, and I'll go over those 2 real quick with you as well. All right, hopefully you gave that a try. Boris is by far the easiest because he was just left with the 2 40-degree slices of the 3 that Carlos took 1 of for strawberry. So those 40-degree slices adds to a total of 80 degrees out of the 180 degrees. And remember, for Boris, he valued those strawberry slices at $45. So dividing by 10, and then this one doesn't actually cancel out completely on top. So you are going to have to be careful when multiplying straight across on this. But 8 and 18 have a common factor of 2, which would be 4 up there and 9 down there. And then 9 does go into 45 5 times. And then the only things left on bottom are 1. So we don't need to multiply or divide by 1. We know we just get the same value. So 4 times the $5 gives us a total of 20 for Boris. Okay, and then the last one, hopefully you got that as well. That was for Carlos. You know, Carlos has several different parts. For Carlos, remember, he chose the 120-degree vanilla part, plus he also chose one of the 40-degree strawberry parts. Okay, so all we need to do is take what fraction of the whole that he valued here and here for each of these to figure out what he got. So 120 degrees of the vanilla out of the 180. And then we're going to take that, divide, 6 goes into that 2 and 3 times. So we actually have 2/3 of the whole vanilla, which he valued at $28. Plus then the 40 out of the 180 for that, which we already did, would be 2/9. So he has 2/9 of the whole strawberry, which he valued at $14. Now notice these are not as nice. You're actually going to have to use a calculator because 3 doesn't go into 28 and 9 doesn't go into 14 nicely. Okay, so multiply these out, and this is why it says you may have to round. The other ones came out nice whole numbers, we didn't have to, but this one, as you can see, will not work out well. Okay, so go ahead and punch those into your calculator, and you get 18.6 repeating, which for us, we will round to 67 cents, because if we kept going, it would just do this, and we don't have that dollar amount. So since we're looking to round here, we got to look one to the right, and that would be $18.67, like I mentioned. Plus 2/9 of 14, I can just multiply that and do 28 divided by 9, which I know 9 goes into that 3 times, but that would be 27, so I'd have 1/9 left over. So again, multiplying that out, 28 divided by 9, you get 3.11111 if you don't know what 1/9 is equivalent to. And if I'm going to take that dollar amount, obviously we're going to round to $3.11. And so don't forget to add those. And the 18 plus 3 is equal to $21. And then 67 cents plus 11 cents is 78 cents. So as we mentioned in all the other sections, it definitely pays to always be the chooser and not one of the divisors. And in this case, it looks like being the first divisor is actually worse than the second. Okay, so hang in there, guys. Keep working hard. I know some of this stuff can be a little bit daunting, but hopefully that helped a little bit. And I'll see you next time. Keep letting me know how I can support you through this. All right, take care.